but I am going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Michigan breakout session for the CSK5. And so, like I said, there's a bit.ly in the chat, and then at the end, we'll go ahead and put that back out there for any of the resources. You can have access to the slide deck. So I am fortunate enough, I'm Cheryl Wilson. I am the computer science consultant at the Michigan Department of Education. I get to work with these folks that you see here. And I will go ahead and introduce them, and each of them will be speaking at some point. So from MiSTEM network, we have Larry Wynn is a computer science program manager. And then from the CSTA Michigan chapter, we have Josh Pudaloff is the president and Vinos Kassab is the secretary. And there are also some great resources that you will find out about as well. So we're going to go ahead and look at some different things. I did just want to let you know all the resources that were mentioned in the plenary session, you will be getting some sort of email follow-up on that. So we're not focusing on what they have already shared. We want to share some other things that are also going on in Michigan, just so you're aware. And as I said, if you have questions along the way, feel free to throw it in the chat or unmute. I have links for a lot of these things. I'm not necessarily going to open everything up. So feel free, if you're in the slide deck, to look at it, but I'll open up maybe a few of the things that are important. Just making sure everybody realizes Michigan did adopt those computer science standards in 2019. And then what we did is we did like a little landscape report in 2020 to kind of see where Michigan's at and what are some of the things that we can do to bring more computer science to Michigan. And if you've never looked at that, that is kind of an interesting report, some recommendations. And one of the recommendations, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is kind of connecting people. And we're going to talk about a computer science professional learning network that we're just starting. So we'll talk a little bit more about those recommendations in that sense. Michigan Virtual, if you are not aware, has 3 courses that are free. So if you have some educators that just need kind of an introduction to what computer science is, like the standards and maybe how to put it in their classes, there's an elementary course, middle school and high school. So that might be something of interest to have you or your teachers check out. In October, for those that might be interested in webinars, the REMC Association has put together, they're calling it Incorporating Computer Science Standards into Your Thinking and Practices. It does focus in on like literacy, and they've put together different grade band focused activities to look at. So again, some great resources coming up, and you can share these out with others to help them to find different ways to interact with computer science. And I have a few more things. I am going to try, let me see if this works, if I can click onto this page real quick. I just wanted to show you, if you want to go to the Michigan Department of Education page, there is a page on academic standards. Computer science is one of those. So if you want to find some more deeper dive information, there are the standards on there. Also, if you want to share information around computer science, there are a lot of one-pagers that are great to share out, like computer science education for elementary teachers, and what about for your school counselors? So feel free to share any of those. We just do a little bit about what is computer science, and then we talk about why computer science. And then, as was mentioned in the plenary session, we feel one of the next steps with CS implementation is actually that script process. So we have a little bit of information there on that script process. So hopefully you are able to check some of that out. One thing I didn't mention, there is a computer science early literacy crosswalk that might interest those involved in early literacy. There's another website called techplan.org that I have some computer science opportunities and information on. We've been doing some pilots, and then we're having some competitive grants coming up from the Michigan Department of Education. And I know I've been mentioning a lot of things, but this is what's exciting, is there's a lot happening in Michigan right now. And so, like I said, just kind of featuring some of these events that are happening. Coming up soon, November 2nd, we are going to have a virtual event called CS for Michigan. And it's focused on educators and getting them resources and opportunities. It's from 12:30 to 5:30, and people can start registering for that. So I know I've talked a lot about what things are going on, kind of broadly in the state. I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Larry Wynn for the MiSTEM network and some opportunities with MiSTEM.
Hey, everybody. So with the MiSTEM network, just kind of give a brief overview of our organization. We are a group of folks all across the state of Michigan, and we have coverage across every single district. But we are here to support STEM education, and we are a state agency within Michigan. And this is our charge from both the governor as well as an advisory council for the state. But as part of that, the few things I do want to mention is we do host code.org workshops throughout the state of Michigan as some of our work that we do. You can find information about that at that my-coding.com. We do have some elementary workshops that will be coming up soon. And so keep your eye on that website, and you can find out when there are some code.org elementary workshops. Beyond that, we do provide grant opportunities, or our folks have opportunities. Our directors across the state have opportunities that may be local for you to get some grant opportunities. Beyond that, we will be releasing a series of playbooks to help school districts implement computer science across the state. One being script, we do include that within our playbooks, but there's also some other pieces that we'll be including. And Cheryl, I actually updated the slide just slightly after you presented. If you are on the slide deck, there is a link to the MiSTEM Network's website to get connected with your regional director if you would like to reach out to them to see what kind of resources are available for you in the area.
Let me see if I can update it just real quick here. Let's see here. We'll go back to that one. Nope. But is that one? There we go.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. So yep, there's a new updated link in there. So yes. All right. And then now we're going to turn it over to the Computer Science Teachers Association. We have Vinos, Kassab, and Josh Pudaloff. So I'll turn it over to you two.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl. As Cheryl introduced, I'm Josh Pudaloff, and Vinos is here. Kassab is with me. We are among the leadership of the Michigan chapter of the CSTA, the Computer Science Teachers Association, which is free to join. So I would love to have everybody join. It's wonderful. There's also a plus membership if you so desire. That costs a little bit of money, but well worth it. But the basic membership, you get a lot of materials, a lot of support. There is a K-5 dedicated virtual community. There's virtual communities on a lot of affinity groups and communities, but there's one dedicated for K-5 that is very active and share a lot of resources. And it's just a great way to connect, because oftentimes those of us doing computer science don't have a lot of colleagues to collaborate with. And so to connect with a vast network of other people doing the same exact work as us, there's just so many resources and opportunities to share and collaborate there. So plus CSTA has a great conference every summer, which always has a plethora of elementary focused sessions that are excellent. And you can even, if you join, go back and look at past years conferences and see the resources from those. The one thing that is a little bit tricky, after you join CSTA, you then have to go and join the Michigan chapter. So it's kind of a two-step process. So after you join National CSTA, then there's a little find your chapter button, and you just scroll down and click on Michigan. Venus, I'm sorry to do all the talking. Did you want to? I'm not hearing Venus. Does anyone hear Venus? No,
Okay.
I guess it's good that I'm doing all the talking. Okay, so we would love to have you. We also do Michigan-focused activities and share resources. You get on the list, so you'll get any resource that comes across either any of our emails or radars. We share those out quite regularly, so we're constantly sharing out opportunities. And there's quite a lot in computer science. That's one exciting thing about computer science is there's so many opportunities, and a lot of people are supporting them. Oftentimes there's contests, grants, free opportunities. So there's really a lot for very little to no cost that ends up being available. Larry was talking about all the workshops that he runs, and there's am I wrong? Very little to no cost for a lot of that. So it's fantastic, and you will hear about that. One way to hear about, stay abreast and learn about all these opportunities is by joining the CSTA. And so one thing we're involved in that I think I'm gonna turn it back over to Cheryl, and we're gonna talk about next is we're very excited about the PLN that we're starting.
Well, thank you, Josh and Venus and Larry. Yes, and one of the things we realized, we were kind of the three of our MDE and MiSTEM and CSTA, we were kind of connecting in a lot of spaces, and it came about like, we need a way to connect everybody who is within computer science in Michigan, the education space together. So we're going to say that we're building a coalition. We are focusing on connecting and supporting our educators, our administration, and stakeholders to implement computer science across the state. So let's talk a little bit about what we're calling it, the CS Professional Learning Network, or PLN as for short. Our purpose is to support the skills and the knowledge of our educators through collaborative study, expertise exchange, and professional dialogue. We also want to support the educational aspirations, achievement, and attainment of students through high quality learning experiences. So when we do this though, and this is where kind of just to give you the idea, we know that it's not just looking at educators. Educators are very important, and you can see in our diagram right here, they're the big layer that kind of wraps us together. We have our network, and we're kind of calling these different layers because we're going to have some different meetings that are going to happen, some virtual connections. And like this, the educator layer is going to have its own meeting once a month. And then we have consultants. There's consultants, teachers, leaders that are out there, and they are supporting the educators in the classroom. And so we're going to have a separate meeting for them once a month. And then I am going to head up a group of statewide leadership to kind of look at, as a state, how can we continue to move computer science forward and work on state implementation. And then you're going to see, we mentioned the steering committee here. And right now, those are the three organizations of MDE, MiSTEM, and for the Michigan CSTA. And we're kind of helping to steer this work here. So I see, just to make sure, there's a question in the chat. I just want to, okay, yeah, so just run the bit.ly in there. Those of you that are on, if you have the questions, like I said, feel free to unmute or throw in the chat. I know we're throwing a lot of information out at you, so feel free to stop us. And all right, so we kind of mapped out what we see our learning events for this year. This is the first year we're just starting. And we had intended to have meetings in September, but it is now October. So starting in October, we are going to have our first, we're going to start with October 7th with the state meeting. And then what we're going to do is every first Thursday will be the state meetings on Thursday afternoons at 4. And then the consultant meetings, if I'm correct, will be the second week of the month on that Thursday at 4 o'clock again. And then the educator meetings will be that third Thursday on at 4 o'clock every month. And so we're kind of trying to design that so that you at least know if it's Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock, you might want to join one of those meetings. So So we're kind of looking broadly. We have our first newsletter, and we'll share that with you in just a moment. And I'm trying to think. We mentioned the CS for Michigan. That is the educator forum. And then we're also looking to have a leadership summit in December, which we did one last December. So we're looking to repeat that. In July, there's the National CSTA event. And so we'd love to have everybody kind of join in on that. And then we're kind of toying with the idea of any way that we can connect in a different way with an educator retreat or something, conference in the end of next summer. So kind of what we have in mind. Did we not put the newsletter on here? I thought we did. This is how you can join to stay connected to the PLN. If you join this, you will get connected to that newsletter. Unless somebody throw that in the chat or not yet? Okay.
Yep, I threw that in the chat.
Okay, perfect. So I think, let's see here. Any questions that people have that are on, like I said, I know we threw a lot out there. We wanted people to have resources that are going on and know of opportunities in Michigan. Probably our biggest thing is we'd love for everybody to be able to join this PLN because I think that's going to be one of your biggest ways to stay connected within the space and how you want to connect with the 3 different organizations. So I do have our contact information if you want to check that out. Each of the different organizations has some different ways to contact us. And I am open for questions. I know, see here. So we have a smaller group, like we said. Those of you that are on, are there ways that do you feel like some of these activities are going to be helpful for reaching out to Michigan? Or there's some other ways that you think we can continue to reach out? We're looking for ideas to continue to reach out. So if any of the 3 of you have ideas, we're looking for them as well. So
I had a couple of quick questions. One is just very straightforward for CSTA. How many members do you have in Michigan?
We have, and Venus, correct me if I'm wrong, we have technically 400, but I would say we have about between 100 and 150, what I would classify as active members,
Okay.
judging by the amount of people that open, read emails.
Okay. And how big is your conference in the summer?
So the CSTA conference this summer, oh boy, that's a good question. So the national conference was, Venus, do you know? Trying to remember.
That's okay.
The last one that they had in Phoenix was their largest when it was face-to-face. That was 2 years ago, and they had over 1,000 people attend at that one. And then now that it's been virtual, they've had over 2,000 at the last conference.
Yeah, the last two have been virtual, so it's been higher.
All right, that's wonderful. So there is not a Michigan conference, but you direct members to go to the.
No, what we have is the November CS for Michigan. That's kind of our Michigan version of a computer science conference.
Awesome.
This year is virtual. November 2nd, is that correct?
Yep.
And then the other question I was just curious about, you mentioned virtual communities, and I was just curious, since your 3 organizations are communicating with each other, is there going to be any kind of overlap or connection point between the professional learning networks and the virtual communities that might already be, have some traction?
So the virtual networks are strictly a CSTA, a national community. And then our Michigan community is all of us on this call combined into the PLN. And so and we use the newsletter to connect and monthly meetings to connect the Michigan segments.
So Chris,
if I answered the question.
Yeah, well, and I just wanted to add a little, Chris. When I've joined the CSTA and those virtual communities, and especially if you're in a grade band, it's tremendous because you're connecting to people all over the country on the CST virtual communities. I've seen a lot of great questions, a lot of sharing of resources on that. So yeah, we're not, I mean, at this point, unless we have people directly joining some of those and able to share some of it, you know, I mean, we could keep a pulse on it, but our meetings are going to kind of be separate and different as far as our virtual meetings within the CSPLN that we're creating.
Yes, but I would say the virtual communities are dynamic. So while there's some established ones like K through 5, high school, certain there's people are free to start any virtual community they want. So they could there's no reason why somebody couldn't start a Michigan K through 5 virtual community. And, you know, if you got enough, you'd be limiting yourself probably. I don't know how many people you could get, but if you wanted one, you know, with that kind of focus, you could start that community.
Yeah, thank you. That's helpful. I think I was just not clear on the difference between the Michigan CSTA and the national CSTA.
Right, it's just a chapter.
Yeah, that's great though. You had asked about ideas, and I know there are a tremendous number of resources out there, but coming from the MiSTEM network perspective, I was curious about opportunities also for teachers to do some externship kinds of experiences, and those kinds of connections might really help foster some new ideas and excitement in the classrooms, that will help the students understand what the landscape looks like as well.
Okay, no, I love that because I do think, I don't know if a lot of teachers have actually thought of that, like doing some of those connections with the business. And then I know we all did student teaching as educators, but yeah, this is completely different. This is actually connecting with a business, finding out, and it's not necessarily, I think some people may say, is it like for a semester? No, it would probably be a very short term, maybe two to 5 days to start. It could extend, but that would be interesting conversations. And I would like to see maybe that can be something that what we're hoping through this work and this PLN is to have things like this to help promote and continue to build some of those resources. Like, yeah, if we've got some more people interested in that, then how can we put this out through MiSTEM or other avenues, or, help at least promote it? So I love that. And it might be a good thing for teachers and educators to think about. So
yeah, that's some of that, I've done just locally, but that was kind of, just either my students have done or I've done, just connecting with businesses in the area. But that was one of the thing that we're excited about for the PLN is how can we bring all those people together, so the PLN is not just for educators, but it's for anyone, with a vested interest in computer science, and connect those pieces to make connections just like that.
I do have one question, because this is one thing we weren't sure. Did we need to send you back to the plenary at the end? Those of you that were participating in they sent us out before that. So
they just told us to click on the link again. So we just,
okay.
Yeah.
So I think
We want everybody back there at 5 after.
Oh, 5
Okay.
after, so they gave a few minutes. Okay, I just wanted to check and I didn't want to.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it. Nothing's going on right now. Yeah, it says
Okay,
closing remarks 1:05 Pacific time.
okay, perfect. No, thank you for adding that in. Yeah, and like we are open, and that's part of why we want this PLN. To start to look at some of those ideas, and not just from like one organization's perspective. We would love to have it being broader. We feel like we can always do more when we're partnered together and have a different reach. And so that's why we're hoping the strength of the PLN is going to be in our people that are coming. So
Yeah, I would love to see a way that, we can push people in sort of a TEALS model at the elementary level too, would be exciting for me. Have people from the community who maybe work in computer science go in and share something elementary appropriate into the schools. Because I think elementary teachers, they're so busy, and so they, you know, they really don't have a time for something more. So I think any way they can integrate this into stuff they're already doing and get more resources, I think is helpful.
Great thought on that, Josh. Yes. So yeah, again, some great topics that we can bring up at upcoming meetings. Like we said, if you join the CSPLN, like just by filling out the bit, you know, the form, we can connect you with the newsletter, and you can decide which of the 3 meetings you could go to all 3 of them if you're interested, depending on your roles. You could just attend one, you know, so we're hoping you can engage at the level that you would like to engage with. So
It does look like they're starting up again.
okay.
I see Jake Baskin there now. He's made it.
Do you
Thank
have
you.
that link to join it, Ben, or?
I think everyone should have because they did say they're all slightly different. So
Oh, okay. All right, everybody, thank you for your time and we appreciate it. Let us know if you have any questions and we look forward to connecting with you in the future.
okay,
Thank you.
thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.